This video is sponsored by TubeBuddy.
It took a lot of careful planning to get everything that I needed for this trip to the Faroe Islands, so I thought I would go through my 2023 travel kit edition. Let's start with Old Faithful, my GH6. Now, I love a tiny camera, as you very well know on this channel, but with the weather being so unpredictable here, and me really needing a camera that can do both photo and video and audio excellently, and is weather sealed, I went for the GH6. My first and probably most used lens here is the 12-60 Lumix Leica f2 to f4. This gives me a 24 to 120mm full frame equivalent, so a super versatile stock lens. It's also weather sealed and stabilized, and I absolutely love that the micro contrast and the quality of this glass is just on another level. It's probably my favorite Micro Four Thirds stock lens for quality, even though it is bigger than all of my other ones. And the more narrow aperture didn't bother me too much because I've been shooting at around f6.3 most of the week, just because I'm shooting primarily landscapes and I wanted everything to be in focus. I have to say the GH6 has been amazing for my 4K 120p for super slow-mo. I've rinsed that and it's my favorite setting on this camera. The 4K 60 looks stunning and it's just been absolutely wonderful for this project. You forget how good the GH6 is, seriously. Now, to keep my kit a little bit smaller, I only brought two extra lenses with me. I brought the Maker 8mm rectilinear f2.8 super wide angle lens for Micro Four Thirds. It is manual focus, so that's been a little bit of a pain in the backside just to sort of wrangle that and remember to make sure everything is in focus when I use it. But I think a wide angle lens for these sorts of landscapes is essential. There are some moments where my 12mm on my stock just doesn't fit everything in, and this lens gives me everything that I want out of these landscapes. In a pinch, even though it is manual focus, I have been using it for some vlogging as well, so the wide angle footage you will see has come from this lens. It's just a matter of presetting your focus and trying not to move too much so that everything stays in focus as you film. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not too bad, particularly at more narrow apertures because everything is in focus anyway. The one downside of this lens is it is a rounded front end, and that has given me quite some interesting flares on the few sunny days that we've had. Sometimes I quite like the creative effect and sometimes they get in the way. For instance, I wanted to make a panorama of this view, but every single frame has a different flare, so it just became a bit of a mess. I've got a full review of this lens, which I shall link below. My second lens of choice is the minuscule 35 to 100 f4 to f5.6. This gives me a 70 to 200 full frame equivalent. It's a little bit on the slow side, but it's certainly compact. It's very, very nice in terms of build quality and only 135 grams. This has enabled me to get some really nice landscapes from afar. From a place like this where you've got a lot of fjords, sometimes your composition is across the water, and this lens has come in so handy. Full review, which I shall link below. Next in the camera category, I have my Insta360 and the stupidest, longest monopod the world has ever seen. I think while the monopod is ridiculous, it does enable you to get some very cool shots. I've been hanging it out of windows of cars, I've been extending it when I've been on the back of boat rides, and I just think it gives you a little bit of an unconventional angle. It's great for socials, you can sort of edit them in portrait and landscape, and I think it's a really fun little camera. Next on my camera list of unconventional cameras is my camcorder. This is quite an old camcorder. I bought it for £30 on eBay and immediately spray painted it because I'm a child. I love that it's instant on. I love that this is the sort of camera that you can hand over to anyone and anyone knows how to use it. I love that there's quite a lot of versatile zoom. And obviously it's not going to be the best quality in the world, but I think it's great for those informal moments that you maybe don't want to get your full camera out for. Not everything has to be crisp and 4K and hashtag cinematic. Sometimes just taking this with you and capturing what you capture can be really, really delightful and full of character. And I also love how literally tiny it is. You can fit it straight in your pocket. It's super cool. And I did a really good job on the spray painting, if I do say so myself.
I've been with TubeBuddy for about 5 years now, and it's really helped me sort of learn how to set my videos up for success. You can make the best video in the world, but if you don't know how to package it and put it out on the platform, no one's going to watch. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, which I highly recommend, it's literally the best thing I've ever done, or if you already have one and you'd like to give it some TLC, then let's just quickly go through what TubeBuddy can do for you. TubeBuddy can help with the nuts and bolts of uploading a video, like suggested tags and short suggested content, which is a new feature. I love the Keyword Explorer. So what this does is it shows me what people like you search for within my niche and what you're interested in. So then I can formulate my ideas around things that I know will perform pretty well because I know people are searching for it. These keyword scores are also weighted as well. Weighted means it's telling me how that word will perform on my specific channel and not in general. And that's incredibly important. If you'd like to learn more, click the link below and use this code here for 20% off any of the Pro or Legend subscription packages with TubeBuddy. Thanks so much to them again for sponsoring this video.
And along the same lines of informal fun, I have my Instax camera. I bought this at the airport a couple of trips ago, and it's sort of come everywhere with me since. I have been using it to have a Polaroid of the day, and my thoughts were I had 10 days here and I had 10 pieces of film inside one cartridge, so I thought I would do one Polaroid a day. And sometimes in life you just need a physical print, in my opinion, and I really enjoy using this. My drone of choice on this holiday has been the Mini 3 Pro. Mini Pro 3? I find the DJI naming system a little bit confusing. Anyway, it's 250 grams or 249 grams if you want to be specific. So you can fly it in most places and it really is very incognito. It's very, very quiet as well, and it's very quick to use, as I'm demonstrating now, super smoothly. I bought the edition with the controller that has the screen built in. My previous drone was a Mavic Pro, something or other, and I always had to make sure that my phone was charged and I had to plug my phone in, and then there was cables all over the place and it was a right pain in the backside. With this, you can just turn it on
the home point has been updated
and you're off.
Take off.
One thing that I do love with it as well, which has come really handy on this trip, is you can add the sort of smart features where it goes on its own. So I've set it to just rotate around me now. And I've been doing this at the top of hills. And as long as you can check that there's nothing in the vicinity it's going to bang into, you can kind of just leave it going and you can get some very interesting dynamic shots. It also shoots portraits, so it's great for socials, and I just absolutely blooming love it. There's been a few times on this trip where we've been at some beautiful viewpoints and someone's whacked out a Mavic Pro or similar, and everyone looks at it. There's lights all over it, it's very noisy, and it gets everyone's attention and is a little bit of a nuisance. This little dude, I just think is awesome. You can hardly hear him, you can hardly see him, and I love him. Link in the description for all of these products. The one thing that's been quite funny is it has annoyed a few of the local birds. Some of the footage has been quite funny where the birds have just sort of circled around and gone, "What the hell are you? Get away from my babies." So be careful where you fly and don't annoy the local wildlife, is all I'm saying. For the audio for this trip, I've upgraded to the Wireless Go 2s rather than the Wireless Go 1s. Two reasons. This one comes with 2 receivers, so I could mic my dad up and have a chat with him when we're out and about on the mountains. And the dead cats actually stay put and don't fall off. It is a blooming nightmare on the original. Every single time I put the dead cat on, it always falls on the floor and I have to go chasing for it.
Absolute shit.
Just for a little bit of peace of mind as well, these also record internally, so if the wireless signal drops for whatever reason, you're safe. I can just hear all the birds because they've seen the drone and they're circling and getting angry at me. I mean you no harm. Next is my trusty travel tripod of joy, which I have had for a number of years now. It's a Sure one. It weighs just £1. I bought it initially to do some wild camping with, but I use it pretty much all the time. It's great to lob in a suitcase or even in hand luggage. I've traveled all around the world with it, and it's even fine enough for me to stand and talk to camera too. Just bear in mind that I'm 5'6" and I have to have it as high as it'll go in order to do that. So if you are a little bit taller, it might not be good for talking head stuff, but it's certainly good for everything else. This is my bag of choice, the Brevity jumper. I assure you it was once white, but I've really screwed this up. The good thing is it is machine washable, so future Emily, cut to a clip of me actually having washed it so you can see what it should look like.
I have not yet washed it.
It's aeroplane certified, so there's plenty of space inside, but it's nice and compact. You have a side hatch for your tripod or a drink, and you also have a clip on the bottom if you want to connect a tripod at the bottom instead. You have a compartment at the top where I keep my drone, and then your camera access is either from the front or from the side. And there's just a place for everything. To be honest, it's a little bit snug. I've got everything exactly where I need it, and if I added one more piece of equipment, I would be screwed. But for my needs right now, I think it's absolutely ideal. And I absolutely love the back compartment, which opens up. It's supposed to be for a laptop sleeve. It's super duper deep, and it's great for waterproof pants or for my hat, which I put on to keep my hair from getting in my face. For my travel tech, I have an iPad mini, which I cannot recommend enough. It serves two primary functions, both as important as one another. One with my adapter and my terabyte SSD. It enables us both to back up our footage every night and keep everything safe. It's a very, very easy way to back up your footage. And two, with a HDMI that I always take with me, I can always watch Star Trek wherever I am in the world. If you are looking for a travel device but you don't want to take something as bulky as a full-sized iPad or an iPad Pro, love it. Love it, love it, love it. And to pair with that, I have my AirPod Pros because you need noise cancelling when you're traveling. You really, really blooming do. Short little plug, I have a second channel, which is just my name, Emily Lowry, and I go through gaming tech, travel tech, and also I have a full video on my iPad mini, so if you'd like to see more non-camera related tech, check that out, I'll link it below. I hope you found this video helpful, and what are your favourite travel products? Let me know in the comments below, and watch these Faroe Islands videos here because the trip is blooming awesome, and I'm sure the footage will blow you away, or your money back.